I almost died. This past June, about 3 months ago as I write this, which is it's going to be my 4-month anniversary in June, I had a very slim chance of surviving a massive staph infection that had invaded my body. I thought that it was the flu, and so did the doctors, until after 2 trips to the emergency room, I was finally admitted into the hospital. Thank God. They had no idea what was happening with my body at first. All they knew was that very quickly, after being admitted, I got massive pneumonia, my kidneys started to fail, and then I went septic. They then had to put me into an induced coma to calm my body down and start to drain an abscess that they had found on my liver, which is where they believed that this infection was coming from. Let me tell you this really quickly. Let me stop here for a second. So they had no idea what was going on with me, and they had to do CT scans and all of that stuff. You know what I'm talking about? But I couldn't lay down. I couldn't lay down because every time I lay down, I would almost die, basically. So they finally had to induce a coma to get me and to intubate me and put me all the way under to go in. So that's what they had to do. And they had no idea what was going on, and the doctors were, a lot of specialists were brought in, and they didn't notice anything. They're like, his kidneys are failing, he's getting pneumonia, I was swollen up like the Michelin Man, too. It was just crazy. But then one doctor noticed that there was something on my liver, and so they were like, this might be what's going on. So that's what really was happening. So once I was in this coma state, my chances of survival and surviving this whole ordeal became extremely slim. In fact, when I actually woke up and everything started to come back, they said that I had about an 8 to 10 chance of making it. So my body was just ravaged by this, whatever it was, and it was attacking me while I lay in the ICU. So meantime, on the inside, I was having what you would call a near-death experience. This near-death experience is very hard to explain. I'll tell you, I didn't see a light. I didn't see a tunnel. You know all the stories you hear? Later on, I find out that not everyone sees a tunnel or a light. But I definitely did cross over. So I'm going to try to kind of explain this to you right now. I had this consciousness that something was wrong with me. I just had this consciousness. I was completely in consciousness state, a vibrational consciousness state. And at the same exact time that I had this realization that something was wrong with me, I then had the exact same realization it wasn't me, it was my body. But nothing was wrong with me. I've always known that we're not our bodies. I teach a Course in Miracles. Who's done a Course in Miracles or reads a Course in Miracles here? A Course in Miracles teaches you over and over and over again, you are not your what? Body. And I've had a couple of out-of-body experiences kind of confirming that. But there was never, ever, ever, ever a time in my life that I left my body when my body was literally dying. It was very different. Do you understand that? It was a very different thing. This made me totally understand, get, vibrate that I was not my body. And my relationship to my body in that moment completely changed. Completely changed. As this whole thing was dawning on me, I had the most incredible, supreme, and beautiful sense of peace and calmness. You would think that a realization that my body was in major trouble would be something that would throw someone into fear and into stress, right? Not me. I had an awareness that was all okay, and all was good, and all was love. And it was all love with or without my body. I knew that if I was to lose my body, I was going to be just fine. And I had no worries about not having it anymore. It was such a freeing, beautiful, amazing feeling. And if anyone here has ever had a near-death experience, you know what I'm talking about. Then, as this was happening, I had this incredible awareness of all the love and all the support that was being directed towards me by so many people in my life. People close to my body, and as far away as Australia and New Zealand, were pouring out massive, massive love directed at me at this time. This is kind of hard to explain in words, but all I can say is that I just knew all these amazing, incredible beings were projecting love towards me. And I could see it, I could feel it, I could hear it. Later on, after I got out of the situation, I found out from intuitive friends. They were like, "Oh, you were at this wedding that I was at in Texas." No, I wasn't. I was in bed. And then another incredible intuitive, she said, "I was doing a show in Australia and you were on stage with me in Australia." That's called non-local. What is that called? Non-local. Our beingness is non-local. Is completely non-local, right? So I just knew all these beings were pouring this incredible amount of love towards me. And this made the experience of love deeper, more profound than I've ever had before, and there's no way I could ever project that to you. When you know it, you know it, when you get it. So, I do not remember actually, making a choice to stay here in this body, but I must have. I believe now, more than ever, that we choose if we stay or if we go. I believe that to the core of my being. I believe that so strongly that when I work with people that say, "Oh, my life sucks. Oh, this is this, and this, and this, and this." And I look at them and say, "Your spirit is choosing to stay here." Because I knew in that moment, I could choose to go. And every one of us in our room, no matter how bad your problems are, how hard you think your life is, guess what? Your spirit is saying, yes. Yes to life. Yes to living. I know that this message here today is for quite a few people. You wouldn't have been here if it wasn't. So thank God I did, that I chose somehow to come back. I'm alive. And I'm loving and appreciating my life in more ways than I ever have before. So the reason that I'm telling you all of this is that this experience taught me many things, and actually the other book is coming out about that. But for our purposes, I want to relate one of the most important lessons to you that I took away from this. I believe that if you're here today, as I said, you need to hear this lesson. There are no accidents. There are no what? Accidents. There are no accidents. There's only matching vibration. There's only what? Matching vibration. The reason you're here now is that you have a matching vibration to what I'm about to tell you right now. And here's the one thing I want to tell you. And this is why there's such incredible beauty in the world and in how spirit works. Is that the one thing I want to tell you is that the time is now. The time is when? Now. I came back to this life and to this body knowing this in a way that I literally want to shout off the rooftops. The time is now. The time that you have here in this particular mix of people and energies is finite. And it will never, when? Never be exactly that way again. You will never have the exact same circumstances, community, personality, relationships, or anything ever again. The time is now. The time to do what you really want to do is now. The time to live your life the way you only ever dreamed about before is now. The time to leave that situation that is not supporting you anymore is now. The time to tell that person that thing is now. This is all very serious, everyone. Listen, I'm sure as I bring these things up, you're thinking of things. Am I right? Yeah. Yes. Especially when I do this, and people say to me, when I say, tell that person that thing. Say yes if you relate to that. Yes. I'm going to challenge you all today. Who's up for a challenge? I should see every hand in this room. Because if you came here, you're up for the challenge. Yes. I'm going to challenge you to tell that person that thing that you're scared about, that you're afraid of being judged about, that you're afraid your life is going to fall apart if you say it. The truth shall set you free. 100% of the time. The truth shall set you free. 100% of the time. The time to leave that job that you have hated for 10 years is now. The time to finally start treating yourself with respect is now. The time to give your fellow human beings love is now. And the time to start your transformation is now. Every moment is a gift. Every moment is a present. That's why they call it the present. That is how this book came to be. I've got 2 other books in the works, as I said. I've been putting them off half-heartedly for years before I did this. But one day, about 4 weeks ago, I'll tell you more about that in a second, I realized that I already had a book in me, and it was not the books I'd been working so hard on. Do you understand that, everyone? Whatever you're working so hard on. You already got the book. Because your life is the book. Do you understand that? So this would be the one, number 1, this book. I knew it, and I knew at that time to write the book was now. So I listened. I what? Listened. I listened. And I did the work. And I did it to get it to you. And now I have a sense of accomplishment, following through with the thing that I was being told to do now. From now on in my life, I will always treasure this moment, and at the same time doing the things and loving the people that bring me joy and peace and love. My prayer is that you will do that more in your life too. So listen to me when I tell you that if you have anything that you want to do, anything you want to be, anything that you want to experience in your life, do or start it now. There is no more time to waste. There's no more what? Time to waste. There is no more excuses. There is no more room in your life to wait until you may be randomly laying in an induced coma and possibly not making it. The time is now. Take a big deep breath. You know, in the Course in Miracles, I study the Course in Miracles, as I said. The Course in Miracles talks over and over and over about something called the holy instant. The holy instant is something that we all have the capacity to get in touch with in every moment. The holy instant is when you actually say yes. The holy instant is when you train yourself enough that you can finally say, I am not listening to my fear anymore. I'm not listening to my guilt anymore. I'm not listening to my sacrifice anymore. I'm going to say yes, because action begets action. And what you, all of us in this room, are creating right now. What are you doing? Creating. You're creating right now. And I brought A Course in Miracles, and I want to just, we got just a couple more minutes? Okay. I want to read to you one of my favorite things from A Course in Miracles, because I believe very strongly that this is one of the keys of how you start to live in the now and understand that how you are creating your future. Would you like to hear it?
Yes.
Okay. This is from chapter 12, and it is in section 7 called Looking Within. And if you don't have A Course in Miracles, I strongly suggest you go. So let me just read this. So, you see what you expect, and you expect what you invite. Let's look at that for a second. You see what you expect, and you expect what you invite. Let's look at that. What are you expecting? What are you expecting in your life? Are you expecting, as many people come to me, they have that gnawing little thing that says, I'm expecting the other shoe to drop. Do you relate to that? And some people come to me and they say, I'm expecting that it's all working out. Right? So you see what you expect. Because if you're expecting the other shoe to drop, guess what you're going to see in the world? Shoes dropping! You're going to see shoes dropping everywhere, right? Meaning, well, their life didn't work out. They got divorced. She lost all her money. Her child did this. Right? So if that's what you expect, that's what you are going to invite and you're going to see into your life. Correct?
Yes.
But as you, as very advanced spiritual beings that you are, start to expect the best, you start to see the best. You start to experience the best. And that's the truth. That is the truth. And because you know what? Ultimately, you're going to invite those things in because you're listening to something called the ego. What is it? Ego. The ego. Of course, in Miracles, it would say the ego is the part of you that thinks without love. Just think of it like that. This is not Freudian ego. This is from A Course in Miracles. Freudian ego is kind of not exactly. So, the more that you're expecting the other shoe to fall, the more you're listening to the fear or the what?
Ego.
The ego. Because from A Course in Miracles' point of view, the only thing that's real is love. Now this is kind of, some people will be like that, well, some people might, and they do. And they're like, oh, you're so Pollyanna-ish. Do you all understand that? Pollyanna, who knows the story of Pollyanna? I do. It's one of my favorite stories. I'll give you a quick little synopsis of it right now. Pollyanna is a story of a girl that goes to a town, really quickly. She is positive. She sees the good. And this town is filled with a lot of shoe droppers. Meaning they are nasty, they are mean, they are and Pollyanna comes in, hello, what's up? Right? And they're like, ugh, what? Well, guess what Pollyanna does? She expects the best. She expects the best. So instead of seeing someone that's angry, that hates their life or whatever, she sees the God in them. And when she sees the God in them, what happens to them, everyone? They start to see it too. And a whole town starts to change. Because Pollyanna, this girl that they've been like, get out of here, man, she's too positive, man, get her out of here. Suddenly they all want her over all the time. Why is that, everybody? Because they feel good and they feel love. So you see what you expect. What are you expecting in your life? What are you expecting in your life? And this is the truth. This is the truth. And raise your hand if you've proved this in your life. For sure. For sure. And some people will look at me and go, oh, it's just positive thinking. That's just positive thinking. It's not positive thinking. It's seeing the essence of the good in everything. And choosing again. And what? Choosing again. That's all you got to do is choose again. Now, not everybody's going to do this, because not everybody is ready. Not everybody is ready to have a life full of love. I'll tell you that. Not everyone's ready to have a life full of joy. Not everyone's ready to have a life full of peace. But if you are ready, this one thing about what you're going to do in this moment and what you're going to expect will change your life.